Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Damien Galvin from White Mountain Property, a real estate agency here in Bucharest with offices also in Brasov. One question we get asked from time to time from foreign investors: is it a smart idea to invest in real estate in Romania compared to them investing back home? And it's a great question, and there's no simple straight answer to it, but there are some factors to consider. If you're investing domestically, in other words back in your own country, generally speaking you'll have access to relatively easy mortgage finance, mortgage credit. And the trick with real estate for real growth is refinancing. So you buy one asset, then you refinance it by a second one, refinance it by a third one, and a fourth one. This is the way to make the fastest gains in real estate, but it's not without its risk, because if the market goes up, you're getting multiple incomes, multiple assets growing, generating future incomes. If the market goes down, you've got multiple assets dragging you down, eating away at the equity that you put into the property. So it's not without risk, but if you think the market is going to grow up, then it's of course much more beneficial to have multiple assets growing at the same time. Hence, refinancing is a very good tool. It's hard to do that if you're not earning in Romania. If your income is in a foreign country, for example in France, Spain, England, it's quite hard to get a foreign citizens mortgage in Romania. They do exist. For example, Libra Bank offer one with 8.1% at the time of making this video, but that's a very expensive credit. So if you've got a rental apartment for let's say 100k, the market norm in Romania is 6% per year, meaning 6,000 euros against a 100,000 euro asset. But if you're paying to the bank 8%, and if you take the whole debt of 100,000, you're paying 8,000 back per year, and you're only getting 6,000. It's not such a beneficial arrangement, let's say. Usually you would have a big advance deposit, 25 or 30%. In fact, for foreign mortgages, it's 30% minimum. For domestic mortgages, in other words, if you have a salary in Romania, then you can get mortgages between, let's say, 15 and 20% deposit, and you're borrowing 85% credit. But if you're a foreigner and your income is foreign, then the only bank that I'm aware of that offer it, Libra, offer 8.1% with a 30% deposit. So you're paying 8% on 70% of the overall debt, and that's still pretty close to the total amount of the rent coming in. But as long as you then take the rent and then you add a bit more to it and you reduce down that 70%, you start to pay it off. Eventually that incoming rent starts to make a bigger and bigger impression over time on the overall debt that you've got, on the 70% mortgage you've got. So the principal differences between investing back home and investing in Romania are basically, back home you can refinance more easily if you want to expose yourself to that risk. In Romania that's a little bit harder to do unless you've got a local income, but you've got the advantages of diversification of portfolio. So you've got an asset outside your home country, so you're spreading your risk for investment. For example, back home you might have other political issues going on, or potential unrest, and it's good to have some of your real estate outside your home country, particularly if you're in high risk areas. Or for example, let's take for example Ukraine. It was a booming market back in 2017, 18, 19. It was 20% growth per year. It was incredible growth. And then suddenly the war came, all the assets, all the real estate market dropped, and then you could face significant losses. So it's a good thing to have diversification of portfolio. Plus, unlike money, where you've got money in the bank, in time as money is digitized and all assets, all wealth is digitized, it's not so easy to be discreet about your actual assets. If you've got money in the bank, in time these banks will start to integrate, and you can start to see, each bank and each government can see the wealth across those accounts, particularly if we go to a digital currency. Whereas if you've got real estate, that's much less easy to do for them. So it's possible, for example, to have a resource, to have a holiday home, or have a real estate asset somewhere that you keep private to yourself, for example. You don't necessarily have to disclose that. Other forms of wealth you do need to. If you start to move precious metals or cryptocurrency or actual money in the bank, you may need to disclose that when you're annual tax returns, or you're moving from one country to another. They will ask you these questions, but with real estate it's not so visible, and for some people that's appealing. So the advantages of investing in a foreign country like Romania: one is real estate is, generally speaking, a very safe store of wealth. Secondly, it's less visible to between banks, which may be important to you. The third thing is it offers diversification of portfolio, offers some safety outside your own domain. Also, you've got access to the growth of, the growth of Romania may be different to the growth of your own country. So you're basically hedging your bets by having, multiple horses in the same race. It also opens lifestyle benefits. It gives you access to Romanian culture. You might, use that access to that lifestyle to generate eligibility for visa applications in future years. Some non-European citizens have better chance of getting a long stay visa if they've got real estate assets. Not guaranteed, but it can assist your application if you've got a case by case dependent. But it can assist your application if you've got real estate here or even a business here. Maybe you put the property inside a company and so on. Some visas, long-term visas, are granted on the basis of that. But again, you would need to, on a case-by-case basis, you would need to examine that. It's certainly a factor to think about. You can contact me. My email address is my name, damien.galvin@whitemountain.ro. You can find it on the website anyway, and in the comments below, in the description below, you'll see the website. You can find me on that site, and I'm happy to give you some advice where I can. Or also you could talk to a lawyer. There are many reputable lawyers here in Romania that can guide you for your specific case. But that's certainly one of the considerations. And so those are some of the factors to consider of buying in Romania. But again, if you can generate an income in Romania somehow, then you can get access to mortgages currently around 5.1 to 5.8%. This is a typical range of the interest rate at the moment. And the rental income will be 6% coming back in from your tenant. So the rent, as you see, is higher than the cost of the interest, which means you can start to make an impression in the debt and start to reduce the debt. So these are some of the factors to consider when you're looking to invest either in your home country or here in Romania. So hopefully that's given you some insight. It's quite a complicated topic and it's not a short discussion. So if you want further consultancy on that, feel free to get in touch with me and I'll do my best to help you. In the meantime, thank you very much for listening and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.